Okay, you're saying you disagree with the ORG headlines today projections. They did project a clear lead for Jaya about a month before the polls. That lead seems to have come down. That's what we're saying. We're not saying that the DMK will win or the AIADMK. We're saying this election is very close to call. We've discussed the issue of money power, and I want to now draw the attention of our panelists to it. And maybe we start with Swapan Dasgupta on the issue of whether money power. The enumerators told us that everybody expected money, but can money power actually swing the results? Because Tamil Nadu is the one state, Swapan, where even in the 2009 Lok Sabha elections, it was first projected by everybody in the opinion polls that the DMK was losing ground, and then on the 13th of May, even then, they came back and they won.
Well, let me just get to what Cho said. I agree with him that an entire election is not a transactional exercise. That people do take money, certainly if they're offered, but whether they vote according to the guidance of the money givers is another matter altogether. Now let's take one thing into account. According to what are the hard facts we have something called the 2006 actual results.
Correct.
And we have a projected result for this year, next year, which we'll know on 13th. It shows the AIADMK alliance gaining a staggering 7%. Now, a 7% is a significant amount. Now, a person who can gain 7% can also gain 9%, can gain 5%. Likewise, what it shows is that the DMK has been sliding. Its recovery is only compared to another exercise of this, which is the opinion poll.
Correct.
So, let's not forget that at present, what this entire thing suggests is that the trend is in favor of the AIADMK. That's the most important thing we have to recall, which is why a necessary note of caution is very, very important. That if a 7% swing has been achieved, then it's been achieved despite resources. And we all agreed on one point that the DMK far outweighs the AIADMK in terms of its ability to command and distribute resources.
And in that,
so my point is that the cautionary note is, while we can talk glibly about money, etc., and whether it has a greater sway in rural areas than in urban areas, let's not forget that this shows that the trend is towards the AIADMK.
Absolutely.
The question is, where does it halt?
Absolutely.
And is it adequate to stop the DMK?
Is AIADMK's resurgence enough to take?
Absolutely, that's really the question.
And in that
there is an anti-incumbency which is working. So it's not necessarily a positive incumbency. There is a very strong anti-incumbency which is working.
Oh, absolutely. I want to go across to Krishna Anand on two issues. One, we spoke about how Dalits seem to have backed the DMK alliance. Is this because of the presence of Dalit parties in the DMK alliance, or is it because of a sympathy factor, given the fact that that's something that the DMK alliance kept speaking about? The campaigners spoke about how A. Raja was being victimized, he's a Dalit. Did that connect with the voters?
Well, I mean, to set the record right, the DMK had ceased to be a party of the Dalits long ago. I think, the first massacre in Tamil Nadu after the DMK came to power, Kiravanmani, where 44 Dalits were killed inside a hut, they were burned to death. From then on, there's been an alienation of the Dalits from the DMK progressively, and in the 90s we have come across actually sort of Dalit parties, but unlike in UP or in Bihar, where actually there's a consolidation of the Dalits across the state, the fact that there are three very distinct groups from among the Dalits in Tamil Nadu leads the Vidudalai Chiruthaigal, that's now with the DMK, in the north,
okay,
as the Dalit party there, and in the south you have the Pudhiya Tamizhagam. But let's also be clear, I think the PMK had its origins in an anti-Dalit consolidation, a backward anti-Dalit consolidation. And for Jayalalitha also in the 90s, there was a series of anti-Dalit violence, sometimes even sponsored by the states. And Jayalalitha benefited out of it. So, I mean, for us to talk in terms of sort of, whether Vidudalai Chiruthaigal's presence here gets them the Dalits to vote here and all those things is
and
presuming
the sympathy factor?
The sympathy, in a sense, Raja was an ordinary poster boy kind of a thing. There wasn't a Dalit identity, though it was made out in public fora and something, that there is a, which did not really sort of, lead to a Dalit consolidation behind the DMK.